I benefit from seeing what works for my future classroom in Canada.
What's your favorite game to play with your students?
Right now, I just kind of play a lot of a game called Typhoon, which is like you draw like a grid on the board, and on the top you write A, B, C, D, E, like however many squares there are.
So it's just like
a 5x5.
Yeah, 5x5.
And you write A, B, C, like this?
Yeah, and then 1, 2, 3 on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
I usually, like the left-hand side, I usually do however many students are in the class so that they all get equal turns, or else they freak out because they're kids. But that's my favorite game, because what happens is basically I make kids read something or answer a question, and then I'm like, oh, choose a square, and they get so excited, and they're like, oh, which square to choose, because like each square is different points. Or like different things happen if they land on different squares. Like each class I have is a completely different game of Typhoon. Like some games have like I have one class that I've played it literally every day that I teach them, and they keep saying, teacher, like today the highest number in the grid is 10, and then the next day 11, 12. So right now we're at like 45.
Okay, so how do you play? So
so I have the master sheet, so I can see which numbers are in each thing. So they say, oh, teacher, A3, and I'll be like, oh, A3 is worth 5 points, and I'll give them 5 points, and they'll be like, hooray, or they'll be like, oh, that's not enough.
Oh, so it's just like you just get a point value on each of them, yeah? Yeah,
and then some of my classes I kind of switch it up, and I'm like, oh, this is a tornado square, which means everybody does rock, paper, scissors, and the person who loses half their points or like all their points. I change it for every class because some classes can't handle that, and other classes like need the extra challenge. So that's like tornado squares are really fun, or some squares I put like a star, and that means that they can switch points with someone. They can choose someone to switch points with. So it's a really easy game to just convince kids to learn, and you can switch it up based on like their levels or needs or desires. So it's pretty versatile.
Like one of the bomb games you can get on Waygook?
No. And what is this Waygook that you're talking about? Waygook.org?
Yeah.
Oh, what is it got? Games? Free games?
Tons of games.
Really?
You just have to register and you get games for days.
That's a good idea.
But Typhoon is basically like a bomb game. And it's called a bomb game because you get points, and then every now and then you can click on one where you hit the bomb, you lose all your points.
Yeah, kids go crazy for it. Like our school now has TVs in a lot of the classrooms and computers hooked up to them, so we can play these bomb games. And my most popular one is a Pokemon themed one. So after they answer a question, they get to click a Pokeball, and it like a Pokemon comes out, and they're like, this Pokemon is 5 XP, and that's how they track the points. The kids lose their minds. They love that.
Waygook.org, and this is like, so in Waygook.org, can you upload your own games too?
Yes, you need to make
an account.
Make an account. It's a free account.
Yeah.
I've had mine for years, but like me, Andrea, and Martin, we all use
so Waygook. So for people out there listening that might be not in a little bit of a desperation mode for finding a new game, WAYGOOK.org.
It has forums. It has like lesson plan safe. So say if you're at a public school and you need something for a winter camp for elementary schools grades 4 to 6, it'll have things you can use, and people will say, oh, this worked, this didn't work, maybe try this. It's just a really great resource as a teacher. I've even used it as a resource for teaching back home in Canada, and it applies there as well. It's just a good teaching resource, period.
Okay.
It is.